can hear us, Vaibhava, Meera Borwankar, who's a retired IPS officer, one of the 47 bureaucrats who penned that letter to the Prime Minister, Harsh Mandar and Amita Pandey are on the show with us right now. We're talking about this letter and their motive, behind addressing the Prime Minister directly. All three of them said, "We're surprised we're being questioned." It seemed fairly obvious. Vaibhava, what is your response to the fact that in this letter it says very clearly that reactions only came after the outrage, that the UP government's reaction was only after the High Court, forced it to react, that minorities, Dalits and women are unsafe in this country right now, and that feeling of security needs to be promised and returned back to them?
Faye, thanks for bringing me on to this. And I'm very surprised at the senior officers. I'm a son of a bureaucrat myself. And my dad seems to be very happy and very reasonable in seeing what Modi ji is trying to do and what is the state government's role and the center government's role. And they're bureaucrats. They should be able to distinguish clearly between what Narendra Bhai Modi has to do as a prime minister and what the state governments in their own functions have to do. Unfortunately, the letter, I've read that, and it is absolutely in good taste. However, I definitely have to bring this up that there's a lot of dissatisfaction that they are showing from the Modi government, because perhaps the Modi government is not giving them a reappointment in some cadre. And a Modi government has not given them a big bungalow to live in, and a Modi government is not, and this is my one point. And I welcome the letter, and I'm not denouncing that letter. I definitely welcome that. But my second point being that, I saw the list of signatories. I have someone as a chief secretary, someone as an additional chief secretary. I mean, do we even acknowledge how senior that level is? May I ask them as a young one, before being a politician, and I'll tell you, I held a citizenship of a foreign nation which could have given me much better infrastructure 10 years back.
I don't understand your point.
To service the country. And I want to ask, and I'm under 50, and I want to ask, what in each of their respective roles, if I was to audit it, what in their each respective roles did they ever do to contribute to the nation except live in big bungalows and ride in
Really, Vaibhava Aggarwal, there is a letter that has been penned right now, and instead of responding point by point to the issues that have been raised in the letter, you are going to point fingers at the 49 bureaucrats who wrote it. And as the son of a bureaucrat yourself, you are going to ask what service they have done to the nation? Isn't that unfair? Why don't you respond to what is in the letter instead of casting aspersions on the people who wrote it? Why is it that everyone who asks you a question, for some reason, ought to have some sort of, ulterior motive to ask you a question? Asking you questions as the government, you should simply answer those questions. Now, for someone who spent their entire life in what is known as public service, is it fair to ask them what they have done in public service?
I want to know that they are bringing out social evils in Modi ji's government using as strong words as shame. I want to understand, they were public servants, Janta ke Naukar. What did they do in their respective tenures to win the heart of the people and to fix that public disorder? Why can't I ask that as a junior most person here? I'm under 40. And I'm talking to
Vaibhava Aggarwal. All right, fair enough. I will take your question to the IS officers who are with us, but I also want to correct you on one. You are not the junior most person here. I myself am younger than you. And Aranya Johar here, who just finished answering an exam in what, 12th standard, 11th standard, first? Okay, is in college, and she's going to